Today we revisit two chilling caving tragedies, journeys that began with excitement but ended in irreversible horror. The first story is about a young soldier swallowed alive beneath tons of collapsing earth. The second follows two divers who ignored every warning about their inexperience and paid the ultimate price underwater. As always, viewer discretion is strongly advised. On March 24, 1973, Private Randall Brown woke before dawn at Fort Rucker, Alabama. At just 20 years old, every weekend of freedom felt like gold. That morning, he and fellow soldier, Private Daniel Hazy, prepared to revisit an abandoned mine they had stumbled upon only a week earlier. Hidden deep in the Alabama woods, the entrance was nearly invisible, buried under decades of fallen leaves. Local tales claimed iron ore miners had once worked here in the 1800s before abandoning the shafts to rot. Randall was no stranger to forgotten places. Growing up in rural Minnesota, he had spent countless hours exploring barns, deserted farmhouses, and cellar holes lost to time. The military had broadened his horizons, but it never dulled his hunger for discovery. Their first visit had been brief and cautious, about 50 feet inside, before turning back. But that glimpse into the darkness only fueled their determination to come better prepared. This time, they carried military-grade flashlights, ropes, and simple safety gear, borrowed from base supplies. Neither had training in caving or mine safety, but their military confidence made them believe they could handle whatever lay ahead. Youth and inexperience often blur the line between courage and recklessness. The hike took about 40 minutes through dense forest, under towering pines and thick hardwood canopy. At the entrance, cool air rushed out, carrying the scent of damp earth and decay. They checked their lights, adjusted their gear, and stepped into the blackness. At first, the mine seemed stable. Thick wooden beams braced the ceiling, the tunnel descending steadily into the hillside. For nearly 100 feet, everything appeared solid, as if the miners had built it to last forever. But deeper inside, the story began to change. The supports grew weaker and more scattered. Some were rotted through, scarred by insects, stained by floods. Small piles of fallen dirt whispered of previous cave-ins. And yet, Randall pressed forward, excitement overruling caution. Roughly 300 feet in, the tunnel shifted upward into a secondary shaft. Unlike the main passage, this section was crudely carved, narrower, and dangerously unstable. The timber supports were fewer, badly rotted, and the packed earth walls showed scars of earlier collapses. The floor was soft and treacherous, while the air smelled of decay and wet soil. Despite these warnings, the two soldiers climbed higher. For Randall, this was adventure in its purest form, to push forward despite the risks. But no military training could prepare him for the hidden danger and abandoned mines. The ceiling was little more than loose soil, stones, and decades of debris, barely held back by weakened beams. Then, without warning, it gave way. It started as a shower of pebbles, then a roar of earth collapsing from above. A 10-foot section of ceiling broke free, crashing down in waves. Timber supports snapped like matchsticks under the weight. Randall was directly beneath it. His flashlight spun into the dark as he dropped to his knees, arms raised in instinctive defense. Soil and rock surged around him like water in a flood, filling every gap, rising to his chest within seconds. He was pinned, completely trapped, the crushing weight squeezing the air from his lungs. Daniel tried to help, clawing at the debris, but every movement only triggered more collapse. The volume of earth was overwhelming, far beyond what one man could move. All he could do was watch in horror as his friend was swallowed alive. Randall's gasps grew fainter. His chest could no longer expand. Soil pressed against his face, stealing the last breaths from his body. Then, silence. The tunnel was sealed forever, a grave of thousands of pounds of earth and stone.